Hey everybody, my name is Noel O'Neill. I'm a director of the Ayurveda Centre, and in this short video I just want to give people kind of a basic introduction to what Ayurveda is. It's a huge topic. It'll be difficult to cover it all in a short video, but I'll give it my best go. So Ayurveda is made up of two words. Ayu means lifespan and Veda means knowledge. So Ayurveda means the knowledge of lifespan, and it's reckoned to be one of the world's most ancient systems of natural healthcare. So fundamentally, the way it works is that it sees health and happiness in terms of balance and ill health in terms of imbalance of your system. Okay. It's actually, if you look at the word disease, it's contained in the word disease. It's dis-ease. The system is no longer at ease with itself. So what exactly are we trying to balance though? What is this balance that we have to get in order to be healthy? Well, if you look around at people, you notice that there's all different types of people. Some people may be very quick to get angry. Some people maybe are much more placid. Some people are much stockier built. Some people are very thin. Some people are slow moving and sluggish. Some people are very quick moving. So there's all different types of characteristics that are out there, okay? And what Ayurveda essentially does is it says that, okay, it recognizes that no two people are the same. We're all unique. We're all individual. We all have different tendencies and different natures. And because of that, what suits you for your health needs and to bring balance in your life is not necessarily what suits me. So you can't give as kind of a one prescription for everybody, like saying to everybody, going to the gym is good. Going to the gym certainly is good for some people. It's not necessarily good for everybody. So what Ayurveda does is it recognizes that there are 5 basic elements in nature, in manifest nature, in the manifest universe. And they are what's called earth, air, fire, water, and space. And everything that exists in the manifest universe is created up of these elements. And these elements have different characteristics. Obviously, fire is different than water, and water is different than earth. And these characteristics come together to make everything, including you. So you're made up of these 5 basic elements, but you're made up of them in a very unique proportion that's unique to your physiology. And what Ayurveda does is it categorizes these different elements into 3 what are called doshas. And understanding doshas is very important for understanding Ayurveda. And the 3 doshas in Ayurveda are called vata, pitta, and kapha. And everybody has different constituents of these 3 doshas. So I'll give you an example. Pitta is fire and water, predominantly fire, okay? So fire is heat, is the heat element. It's the transformation element. So pitta people tend to be very creative. They tend to be very intellectual. They tend to like to understand things. They tend to like to be in control of the situation. They tend to be very ambitious. They can be hot-headed. In the nature, you heard of a hot-headed person, that would be someone with a lot of pitta in them. And when they're in balance, pitta is a great dosha to have because pitta people get things done. I'm a pitta person as well. But out of balance then, when there's too much heat in the body, that becomes a problem, okay? And the problem then might manifest itself in the terms of the person being very angry. So they just fly off the handle. A couple of small little things happen during the day and suddenly they're shouting and screaming and, losing their temper. They can become very impatient. Pitta people can be very impatient. They can't stand in queues for ATMs or for coffee or whatever. They're looking at their watch all the time. They're just very, very impatient. They can become obsessive. People who suffer from addiction tend to be pitta people as well. On a physical level, if there's too much pitta in the system, it might manifest itself as heartburn or ulcers or skin rashes. The eyes are also a pitta organ. So this increase of this pitta element in the system can give rise to these things. In balance, it's great. Out of balance, it's a problem. Kapha is earth and water. So the heavier element. So people who are kind of heavier build or more slow moving or more ponderous, need to think about things, maybe a little slow at picking up information, but once they pick it up, they tend to hold on to it. So kapha element, again, they're very loving people. They're very compassionate people. And actually, in fact, kapha people don't tend to get too sick because they tend to be very strong people. They tend to have very strong immune systems. But if you can imagine that kapha element, that earth element becomes too much, it becomes too predominant, then what do you end up with? You end up with the person being sluggish. Maybe they can't get out of bed in the morning. Maybe they start putting on too much weight. They become diabetic. And worst of all, maybe they become depressed. So depression can be a kapha thing. And then the last of the doshas is vata, and vata is made of air and space. And vata is really called the king of the doshas. And it's the one that leads the other doshas, because you can't have movement without air and space. And vata also has the most amount of diseases associated with it. And all of these different doshas are associated with different organs in the body, and they're associated also with different diseases. So every single disease in Ayurveda can be identified in terms of an imbalance of vata, pitta, and kapha. And vata is to do with movement, and it's to do with the nervous system. And, you know, some of the more common diseases that we suffer from nowadays, things like dementia and Parkinson's and arthritis, and, you know, they're all associated with too much vata in the system. And also the likes of anxiety, which is very common nowadays, too much going on in the mind, too much, and then it builds into a state where you're worrying. So anxiety and panic attacks, they're all associated with vata. The inability to sleep at nighttime would be associated with vata. And vata people, if someone is predominantly vata, they tend to be very thin, very quick moving. The mind is very quick moving. They just flit from one thing to another. They're always jumping, probably don't even finish what they started, or maybe forget about it very quickly, because the mind is just moving from one thing to the next thing. And actual fact, life nowadays tends to be very vata driven, because we're on our mobile phones. We have 24-hour news, we have TVs, you know, we have TVs in our bedroom, all this sort of stuff, which all increases this movement in your body and in, you know, in your mind. So these are the three doshas, vata, pitta, and kapha, which are associated with the 5 elements that make up everything in the universe. Now that's very important, because everything in the universe is made up of these 5 elements. So everything that you take in or eat or deal with through your senses can have an influence on you. So let's say you are a very pitta person. You find yourself very prone to anger, or very impatient, or you get heartburn when you eat. So what can you do to balance that from an Ayurvedic perspective? Well, in Ayurveda, it's always the opposite that balances. So if you have heat, you need to bring in cooling. So for a pitta person, the prescriptions or the modalities that you may use to try bring yourself into balance may seem a bit strange, you know, but you could tell a pitta person that they need to maybe go for a swim during the summertime, because swimming helps to cool them down, and it's a very good exercise for pitta people to do. Skiing is also a very good exercise for pitta people to do, because it's cooling, it's calming, you know. So, and then colors, like the colors that you wear, like if just take a very simple example. If you're a very pitta person, you're a very prone to anger, and you go in, you want to buy yourself a new shirt, and you go into a shop and there's 2 shirts on the rack, one is red and one is blue. Which one suits you? Okay, which is the best one for you to buy? Well, the blue shirt is the best one for a pitta person to buy, because blue is a cooling color. It has a natural soothing influence, whereas red is a very stimulating color. So the red shirt would be more suitable for a person of a very strong kapha nature to use, because they need that stimulation, because they've got too much heaviness and too much dullness in their system. So you bring the opposite to stimulate them. So it's like that. But as I said, vata, pitta, kapha, and everything. So which would be better? I mean, this is intuitive as well. A person who's suffering from heartburn, who's got all this anger, what's going to be better for them? A red chili peppers, a hot curry, or some more cooling foods, maybe some foods with some coriander or fennel in it, or coconut, which is a very cooling food. So all these things have an influence on us. And that's what Ayurveda is all about. It's firstly about discovering what your nature is. Okay, so what type of a person am I? Am I predominantly a vata person? Am I predominantly a pitta person? Am I predominantly a kapha person? Now, we all have all 3 of these doshas in us. You can't exist without having all 3, all 5 elements there, but all 3 of the doshas in us. So, but one of them tends to be more predominant than most people. Some people can be tridoshic, which means they have an even balance of the 3 of them. But in most people, 1 or 2 tend to be more dominant. So the first thing an Ayurvedic physician or someone who's interested in Ayurveda is trying to find out is, well, what's my nature? What's my, you know, what's my, it's called prakriti in Ayurveda. What's my basic nature? So me personally, I know that I'm predominantly a pitta type of person. I have some vata in me as well, not so much kapha, but predominantly pitta. So I need to watch out for things that may put my pitta out of balance. If I find myself getting angry or obsessive or all of these things, I know I need to do something to reverse that down. So Ayurveda, you find out what your nature is, but more importantly, you find out what your imbalance is. So at this present moment in time, what's your problem? Is it high blood pressure? Is it anxiety? Is it a stomach ulcer? Is it anger? Is it whatever it happens to be? And then that's associated with a particular dosha. And then Ayurveda uses many, many modalities to try to bring that person back into balance. But the primary modality always is your lifestyle. Ayurveda deals with herbal preparations, it deals with treatments, it deals with all of these things, but your lifestyle is the primary one, and your digestion is very important. Even if you're eating all the right foods, if your digestion is not strong, is not functioning properly, you can't get the proper benefits out of them. There's a saying in Ayurveda, for those whose digestion doesn't work properly, medicines are of no use, and for those whose digestion does work properly, medicines are of no need. So the digestive process is seen as being very important, and we put our digestions out of balance in all types of way by eating too many processed foods, by too much alcohol, by eating too late at night time, and primarily by eating when we're not hungry, which is a thing we all tend to do these days. And a lot of people don't even know what it means to be hungry anymore. We've access to so much food. So, and that can put your digestion out of balance. So Ayurveda, as I said, uses many, many modalities to bring yourself back into balance. The primary one being your lifestyle. So your daily routine, your seasonal routine, your routine for the time of life that you find yourself in. And then on top of that, it may be that some herbal preparations are needed, or if a disease has become very ingrained, then maybe some other treatments are needed. That's also the great thing about Ayurveda. It doesn't see that you're perfectly healthy one day and you have a severe chronic disease the next day. There's a progressive path as your doshas go progressively out of balance, as you continue to do the wrong thing. Generally, if you're awake in life, if you're awake to the signals that nature sends you, then you will see when you do something wrong. Your body tends to be very quick to tell you when you've done something wrong. But unfortunately, we're educated to do the wrong thing about those signals, or we ignore them, or we take a tablet, we take a painkiller or something like that, and it makes the pain go away. Of course, it's got absolutely nothing to do with what's causing the pain to happen in the first place, and we're not addressing that issue, and then we keep taking the painkillers, and eventually the problem manifests itself in bigger and bigger ways, or maybe there's side effects from the tablets that you're taking, or whatever that happens to be. So Ayurveda sees actually 6 stages of disease, from being perfectly in balance, and then as you go gradually out of balance and gradually out of balance, and things get worse and worse and worse, eventually to having what we would call a chronic disease nowadays. And obviously the earlier you can catch an imbalance, the easier it is to bring yourself back into balance. And Ayurveda is primarily a prevention-orientated system of healthcare, because if you already know what your nature is, if you already know the right things to do, then there's far less chance of the system going out of balance. However, for most people, the only time they engage with the health service is when they're actually sick, okay? The only time we think about our health is when something has gone wrong. But Ayurveda also has many, many modalities, and there's a great way of bringing yourself back into balance, and then hopefully allowing yourself not to go back out of balance. And it sees the importance of sleep and diet and exercise and all these different routines. So that's a basic overview of what Ayurveda is. It's a natural tradition of health which sees your lifestyle and your diet and your digestion as primarily important to maintaining good health in your life. And then if you are out of balance, there may be herbal preparations, there may be other treatments that you need to do as well. So if you think you might be interested in Ayurveda, and if you want to find out a bit more about it, we have designed a 7-lesson online course. It's completely free of charge to people, that you can download on our website. And I'll show you how to get to our website. I'll share my screen now. I'll just share the screen and I'll bring you to our website. And our website is, sorry, that's our YouTube channel. Our website is ayurveda.ie. So it's very easy to remember. And on the homepage of ayurveda.ie, these are some of our doctors. This is Dr. Don Brennan. He's a medical doctor as well as an Ayurvedic doctor. And this is Vaidya Rajvinder Kaur and Vaidya Nahid Farooq. And we have another Vaidya as well, Vaidya Tritelli over here. Vaidya is the word for an Ayurvedic doctor. In India, to become an Ayurvedic doctor, it's a 6-year degree course. It's called a BAMS, a Bachelor of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery. So all of our doctors are very, very highly qualified doctors, and you can get their details there. But if we click here for more details, that will bring you into this page, Perfect Health with Ayurveda, free online course. And you can register for that course. You just put in your email address and then we send you out the links to the videos where you can watch them. And there's 6 lessons in the course. So the first one, or 7 lessons in the course. First one is an introduction to Ayurveda, then an explanation of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. By the end of that, those 3 lessons, you'll have a fair idea of what your nature is, or which your dosha is, which is your predominant dosha. You have the rhythms of nature for your daily and seasonal routines. We have a whole lecture on digestion, the importance of digestion and how important it is to have a strong digestion. And then the 7th lecture is about the 6 stages of disease, so how diseases progress. We have some testimonials there. There's one from John Duffy, he's an MD in Ireland, and a few other people just talking about the course as well. So you can register for that course, and it's a great start for finding out about Ayurveda. Also on our website, we have some introduction to Ayurveda, some talks and body type tests and things about Vata, Pitta, Kapha. But really, this course is the best place to find out about Ayurveda. One other thing we have is we have a YouTube channel. So at Ayurveda Center, you can see it here. And on this channel, we have lots and lots of videos. We do regular Q&As where the doctors answer questions about different things, and we just have loads of different videos, different cookery videos and all that. A lot of free content on that particular channel. We also, because we have Dr. Brennan worked in the UK for decades, and we have an awful lot of we have a huge customer base in the UK. We also have a UK website, which it's effectively the same as the Irish one. You can see, you can sign up for the online course there as well, you know, and it's just ireland.co.uk. And it's just a UK version of our website, you know. So the other thing, I'll just stop that share now. Okay, so that's where you can get information. As I say, that 7-lesson course is a great place to start on that. My name is Noel O'Neill, and my email address is noel@ayurveda.ie. I'll just share some details so that you can write them down there. And okay, so So they are our details. The Ayurveda Center, that's our web address. info@ayurveda.ie is our email address, and that's our YouTube channel as well. So I hope that gives you some idea. It's such a huge, vast topic of information. It's very hard to put it into a short little video, but I hope it gives you some idea of what Ayurveda is. And as I say again, all diseases are associated in Ayurveda with an imbalance of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So it doesn't condition you're suffering from, if it's arthritis or eczema or skin disorders or anxiety or whatever it happens to be. There is an Ayurvedic approach that people can take to hopefully trying to resolve these issues. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening to me. And yeah, okay. So we hope to see you on some of our courses at some stage. Thank you very much. Bye.